Hi everyone, welcome back to another For Those Who Code video. This channel is where we discuss and learn new skills around the topics of design and development. If you want to grow your skills and learn new things that's coming up, please like, share, and please do subscribe for more. In this video, we'll be learning on how we can create a simple image lightbox in React without the use of any libraries. Let's take a look at what we'll be building. So we'll be building this simple image lightbox gallery where we have the list of images, and if we click on a particular image, let's say image of a cat, then it expands and it's zoomed in, and we can further close the lightbox and click on the next image, and we can go back and forth as well. We can click on next and next and next, and also go in the reverse order as well. So this is pretty much simple stuff that we'll be covering today. So without any delay, let's get started. Let's bring in our VS Code here, and we want to navigate to our desired project directory, and inside there let's create a blank React project. So first of all, I want to make the use of npx create to React app, and I want to give the name of React gallery. It's a lightbox with a gallery, so I'll just name it React gallery. Our project is successfully created now. First of all, I want to remove the unnecessary files that we won't be really using. So let's delete app.css for now. We want to really be diving into CSS modules and all the stuff. Let's remove this, and let's also remove everything here. So inside of our app.js, we want to first create a class name and call it wrapper. And inside of our class name wrapper, we will map out the data that we have. So let's also create a new folder and call it data, and inside of here we will add new file and call it images.json. So inside of here I will grab in some dummy data that we have. So it's basically all the link from the online URLs, place image.com, and this would be fine for now. And let's import our data from data images.json. So after importing data, then we can map our data.data dot map, and we want to map out the item and index of the data, and also let's use fat arrow. Inside here we want to create a div. Let's also close the div, and that div would contain a key which would be index, and let's also give it a class name of wrapper images. And inside here we want to add our img tag, and that img would contain the src attribute, which would be item.link. And also let's add an alt text to our image. So alt would be item.text, and we will later on add an on-click handler to our image later on. So for now we will just add an h2, and inside this h2 we can write item.text, which would be the text that we have in the data. So we basically had like data.data because we have this data right here, and we are accessing the link and the text for this data array. So this is for now okay. So as you can see here, our images is listed down in the browser, which is great. So now let's go ahead and add some on-click handler to our images. So to add some on-click handler, let's add an on-click event, and which should be called handle click, which takes in the parameter of item and index. So we haven't really like created this function, so let's add a const and call it handle click, which takes in the item and the index, and we'll make the use of this fat arrow right here. And inside here we want to now have a piece of state where we can set the current index and set the clicked images that we have. So to add that, now we want to import our useState hook. So in the top here we want to add import useState from React, and also let's import our React as well. So let's add a piece of state where we can add const and clicked image and set clicked image, and initially it would be null, and not settings but set. And we also want to add another piece of state where we can track the current index. So let's write current index and also add set current index. So with this we are pretty much fine, and we can set current index, make the use of set current index, and pass in the index that we receive from these parameters. So after setting on the correct index, we also need to set the clicked image. So set clicked image to the item dot link. So this would basically contain the link of the image itself. So till now we are doing a great progress. So now let's go ahead and use this click image. So we will pass this click image and current index to another component. So for now let's create another file and call it components, and inside there we want to add another file and call it modal.js. So inside here let's create a constant and call it modal, and inside the modal we will pass in the clicked image as prop. So let's receive that prop here, and we also want to make the use of, let's wrap it inside of curly braces, brackets, return some JSX. So inside that JSX let's add, for now let's add this click image, and also let's return or export our default model, and let's save it, and we will come to this later. So now we want to import this model that we created from components / model, and let's also add model right here. So now let's go ahead and save this, and we will just write this is model for now, and looks like the value is assigned but not read. That's fine. So if we take a look here, we can see that this is a model here. So basically we want to set the visibility of the model when we have something in the clicked image, right? So we can further write a condition here where click image, if we do have a clicked image, then we can see this particular interface. So let's move it here and let's format it and let's save it, and we can't see that particular model component unless we click on this particular image, any of the image, which is fine. So now let's we also need to make the use of current index. So to make the use of current index, what we want to do is let's pass down our clicked image as a prop here. So clicked image would be just click image, and we can receive that clicked image as a prop here. So click image, and we want to create a function later on, but for now what we want to do is we want to create another function here. So that function would be just handle rotation right. We will just add a like icon here where we can just click on it and go right and left of the image. So let's call it handle rotation right, and inside here we want to make a variable, and that would be a constant, and call it total length. So total length would be data dot length. That's basically this data that we are referring to, that we imported. This is a hard-coded data. You can also like have use state hook and call some APIs and use that state later on. But for now, we'll just hard code this data. So now let's create if statement where we'll check the current index is current index, which would be this. So this would be current index like this, and this would be this. So set current index, and if current index is +1, so current index +1 is greater than is equal to total length, then we execute this piece of code. So if that's the case, we will set the current index to 0, because if this is the case, then we know that the clicked element is the first element. So let's add a constant and call a new URL, and the new URL that we need to grab is from the data, and we need to grab the first element of that array and grab the link of it and set clicked image, or it's just img, to the new URL. So, and we further don't want to execute any other code after this. And if that's not the case, then we can create another constant and call it new index, which would be current index +1, and create another constant and call it new URL, and that would be like not this one, but rather we will filter down data and filter each item inside there. So item, and we need to return the data dot index of this item that we have passed in, and if it's strictly is equal to the new index, then we will return this. So in that case, we want to create another constant and new item, and is equal to new URL, and grab the first area of it and grab the link. And now we want to set this to like set clicked image to the new image, which would be this. And also we want to set current index to the new index. So this is pretty much it for handle rotation right. So now we want to pass in this as a prop to our modal component. So let's add this here, so we can receive this inside of our modal. So we have created this. Now let's go ahead and save it and format a bit. Now inside of our modal, we want to receive that particular prop that is passed in, which is handle rotation right. So now we also want to pass down the set clicked image as a prop here as well, because we want to make the use of this piece of state here inside of a modal, and we also want to receive that prop here. So now what we want to do is we want to like receive that particular clicked image and print out here. So basically we will be writing a div, and let's give this a class name of not modal but class name would be overlay, and also add another class name of dismiss there as well. And this is just an overlay div. So if we click on this overlay div, we also need to execute function there later on, so that we can click on the modal, and if you click on this, we can see that this is a modal, right? So if we refresh, we don't see that modal right here. So if we click on that modal, then we will see this UI, and this would be wrapping div of it. So now let's add an image. So let's add the image src. So image src would be this particular clicked image that's passed in, and we will like close this tag. And let's also add an alt. So we could also like pass in the alt attribute here, but for now we'll just add bigger picture. So when after this image, we can also add a span tag, and inside that span tag we will add a close tag here. So this span tag will have a class name, and that class name would be dismiss. If you notice, we have added a dismiss here and here as well. So later on I will get to this why we have two dismiss classes right here. So we'll also have another on click handle here and also here. So let's add an on and call it handle click, and let's also grab this handle click and add it in the dismiss. So this is basically we want to dismiss the overlay that's being shown. So let's also create a function for our handle click, const handle click. This would take in the event as a parameter, not export, event as a parameter, and we will check if the event dot target dot class list does contain, if it contains something like a class name of dismiss, then we should execute this function. We will just add a click set clicked image to null, and that would be fine for now. We haven't really made the use of handle rotation, so we will create another div here, and we will just add on click right here, and which would receive the prop called handle rotation right. And inside there we want to add some SVGs that I'll just grabbing. So that would be just an arrow of right. And also let's also add a class name to this div, and we can give a class name of overlay arrows left. So this would be the left side of the arrow. All right, so after hitting save, then we should be fine. So the last thing that I want to do before testing out this would be just adding the lines of CSS. So I'll be grabbing some lines of CSS and adding it here. So basically it contains the CSS of our overlay div. So let's go ahead and save it, and we can see everything is working fine and it's aligned well. So if you click on this, then we can see this overlay, and we added this right here, which like handle click. If we click on the overlay, it executes handle click. If we click on the dismiss icon, it executes handle click. So this both will like close the overlay. So after this has been done, let's go ahead and we really have no right arrow here. Let's see why. Oh, okay. So we have like a class. It should be this a specific class name. It didn't take any class name from the CSS. So if we click on this, then it changes to a different images, which is great. So now let's also create another on-click handler to our right. So we will just grab this and paste it right here, and we will call this handle rotation. It should be right, and this should be right. So, and also let's rename this to right. Okay, and let's pass it down here, and everything looks fine, but we have a typo error there. So let's go to our handle right. So this should be handle right. So everything works fine. So now let's go ahead and add handle left. So we will just add handle left here, and we will receive this function as a prop and to this. So we really haven't created handle left, but we just have handle rotation right. So for handle rotation left, we can reuse some logic that we created here. So let's create a constant and call it handle rotation left, and inside here let's create a constant and call a total length would be data.length, which is fine. And if we have the current index is strictly is equal to 0, then we know that the element that has been clicked or that we are looking at is the first element. So we will set the current index to total length -1. So total length -1, and we'll also add a new constant, which is new URL, and we also need to set the click image like we did here, set clicked image. So we will add a set clicked image here. So the new URL should be data.data and grab the total length from there and subtract -1 and grab the link. So that would be the image link. So and if it's not strictly is equal to 0, then we can add another constant and call it index is equal to current index -1. So and add a constant, and we can grab the same function that we created here. So it would be, everything would be the same. So let's grab it and paste it right here. So this would be the same, so we won't be really need to change that. So let's also pass this constant we created as a prop here. So let's add here, and let's also add here, and the handle left should receive as a prop here. So it's added to the click handler in the div here. So let's save this, and let's also save this. And if we take a look at the console, we don't really have any errors. So if you click on it, the right arrow is not visible. So let's go ahead and fix this styling here. So it should be right. Let's save it, and we can see the arrows, but both are pointing to the right. So I will just grab the SVG and just replace this SVG with the other SVG, and let's save it, and let's see this. We have right and left arrow, and this should like show up the image to the right. So this 0, 1, 2, 3 index, and this is 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, and 3 index. And if we go back, this should be in reverse order as well, so which is great. So guys, in this video we learned about how we can create a simple image lightbox with React. I hope you learned something new from this. If you want to learn more around the topic of design and development, please like, share, and subscribe with a click down below. Thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next one.